This isn't the garage. Welcome back to another lightning video. In the last video we got this thing dyno tuned and running absolutely perfect. Nope. With one exception, it's making 20 pounds of boost, which is a little bit more than I'd like to run on pump 93 octane. So in this video we're going to be swapping out this pulley, and while we're in there I figured we could do something about this engine bay. I've been meaning to repaint this intake tube that I fixed in the last video. It's just in awful, terrible shape, needs to be repainted. And the engine bay is just dirty and has not seen any love or care since probably 2009, other than maintenance and stuff. So I think we can do better than this right here. But this is gonna need some body work. I don't like doing body work in the garage because it's messy. It's also now mid-November, so it's dark out like 27 hours a day. So we're gonna be working outside. Also, as soon as I take this off, the truck is no longer able to be moved, so I've moved it away from the garage so it's not blocking any other vehicles from getting in or out. So let me get this thing off real quick. We'll go take a look at it in the garage and then we'll get right to bodywork. I'm painting some other stuff for other videos in my new temporary paint booth in the garage, so you guys will get to see that. But for now, let's get this thing off, start bodyworking it, and get ready for some paint. It's cold out here. All right, made it into the garage. By the way, peep the temporary paint booth, baby. You guys may have already seen this, but I have a whole nother project vehicle that I set up this paint booth to paint a bumper for. But I don't know when that video is gonna come out, when this one's gonna come out, so I don't wanna spoil it just in case. But I figured while this paint booth was up, I might as well do a couple other parts for a couple different vehicles, the Mercedes included. So stick around for that. But the Lightning, this is just an intake tube, should be pretty easy, but let me show you what we need to do. Here's the repair that we made last time in all of its ugly glory, but it held up just fine on the dyno and is definitely stronger than it ever was, so I don't think we'll have that issue again. And I'm not gonna kill myself bodyworking that to look good, because in the truck, this is all you see. But over the years, we've got some paint, lifting issues, just like chemicals and stuff getting on this thing. At one point someone tried to JB Welds repair this and that got on that. The sticker's in rough shape. It just needs a repaint. And I could do it black. That's the color of the truck. That's probably why it was originally black, but that's too boring. So over here you can already see we got some blues. And this is just paint that I already had, and I know there's no Sonic Blue on the truck. The truck is not Sonic Blue, but I'll be damned, I just love the color blue. Hey, Toolbox is blue too. We got blue on the flag over there. I've got some grays, I've got some reds, but I just want something to pop in this engine bay. And I think that maybe not this year, but if I ever, completely redo that engine bay, we can make, do some sort of blue, gray, something theme. But just the polished look with like black is, at least the way it looks now, it's just boring. So I've got the paint. I figured why the heck not? Let's paint this thing something fun, something awesome, something metallic-y like Sonic Blue. And then while I was getting out Sonic Blue, of course, I went by my one of my favorite, I guess, GM colors. This is Blew Me Away, which is I think it's like a 2017 Camaro color. It's the same color I painted the intake manifold and brake calipers on my 1969 Camaro. Just an absolutely beautiful metallic blue color. You can see how much lighter it is than Sonic Blue. It actually looks a lot like this Riptide Blue metallic here on the C8 Z06. So, I don't know, I'm torn. I kind of want to keep it Ford on this thing, and I probably will, but we'll see how I feel when I actually get to mix up the paint. I've got both of them. But yeah, mass airflow sensor is going to need to come out. I already took the giant air filter off over here, which is getting pretty dirty. Honestly, I just put this in like June and it's already pretty dirty, but the sticker is going to need to come off, and then we'll of course sand and prime this whole thing so it's nice and smooth. And then I think I showed this in the last video. There's this whole JLP intake like box that the thing's supposed to go in that I've just had out of the truck for 4 or 5 months now. So we'll get that in too, but that's enough chat for now. Let's get to work. Let's get outside in the cold and dark, get to sanding this thing down, get it ready for primer and paint. Man, just look at this. Sonic Blue never gets old. Got any natural light over here by the window? Oh yeah. Good morning. It is, I don't even know. I've painted so many things, done so many separate projects over the last 10 days or so. I don't even know how many days it's been, but the lightning intake tube is done and it looks fantastic. The temporary paint booth was a huge success. Got some Mercedes parts painted. Got a project you guys haven't seen parts painted. Got the lightning intake tube painted. Just a bunch of stuff. And I definitely think that Sonic Blue was the move. Came out almost perfect. As usual, it was cold when I was painting, so I did get one little baby run right here. Quickly wet sanded that out, buffed the whole thing, and even ceramic coated it. So this thing is absolutely mint. Looks insane. Now it's gonna look way too nice for the rest of the engine bay, but that's okay, we'll get there. Anyways, for those that care, the process was obviously sanded the whole thing down, basically up to 320 grit, then 2K primer, wet sanded that with 600, and then a couple coats of base, and then clear coat, 2 or 3 coats of clear. Came out really, really good. I'll put up a little before, you know, of what this thing looked like just a few days ago. Man, what a difference. Not bad for stuff that we already had as far as paint supplies and materials. Now, we just got to put it back together. But now that this looks like this, I can't be putting this thing back on. So I'd like to attempt to wash or degrease and or power wash this thing today before we put this back in. Depending on how good it looks, might end up repainting the whole thing with just like some matte black or something. Same thing with this little like grate that goes over the top here. It says JLP forced air induction, but the sticker looks kind of ratty. So I actually reached out to JLP to see if they could sell me another sticker. So hopefully they can. If not, in the meantime, I think I'm gonna peel this thing off, clean this thing up, might end up respraying it. Then we can get all this back in the truck and get the truck inside in the warmth, because there's a lot more to do in the engine bay and it's cold outside, which is unfortunate because I would like to get the engine bay power washed. Underneath where the airbox goes is dirty and gross, and I'd like to get all that as clean as possible before we put these cleaned up parts back in, as well as some new parts that I got on the way. Bad news is it's literally below freezing out right now, and it's not gonna get very warm today, so I'm gonna have to suck it up, deal with numb hands that I can't feel, but I have to wait a little bit. Right now, I think it's gonna get up to like the high 30s, maybe later this afternoon. So once that time comes around, we'll get the engine bay power washed, let it dry a little bit, then kick one of these cars out for a moment, get our new parts in, get the intake back on so the truck is at least drivable, and then we'll talk about the new parts that are coming in the next day or so. All right, decent plan, let's execute it. Give me my ratchet back. Yeah. Having fun. We're having fun. Okay, easy. That was easy. How's this Pulley bridge come off? Well, I have once again made a mess. It is the next day, guys. Got the Lightning inside, or actually it's 2 days later. Drove the Lightning in last night, power washed the engine bay the day before. Freezing cold, actually had water that was freezing in here. It was freezing on the ground, making it slippery. My hands were numb, but all that fun stuff. But it is now much, much cleaner over in this area. Good starting point. Got a bunch of stuff torn down in here. First of all, got the belt off, got the pulley bridge off, got the power steering off, got a whole bunch of brackets and stuff disconnected and undone over here. Get into that in a second. Also, got the Kenne pulley off. Using the tool that I found behind the seat, I had to make some of my own modifications to get it to work right with some hardware I had laying around. It had a bunch of this random stuff. I don't know if that's how it was from Kenne or if this is something a previous owner modified, but a couple 10 mil bolts ground down so that the Allen hex could fit through the middle, and it worked for me. So this is the pulley that we took off. This is a 3.5-inch pulley. I contacted Kenne and said I'd like to be around 17-ish, 18-ish pounds boost, and he said a 3 3/4 is what you need. So he sent me this one. You can see the size difference there. These are the other two pulleys that came with the truck from smallest to largest. Again, this is the one that was on there. So this was probably 25 or more pounds of boost right there. So we'll keep that in our back pocket if we ever decide to run E85. But the truck's got the fuel system for it. Big old 4 return system with a 4 billet hat. You guys saw that when I pulled the bed. So we could do that down the road. But for now, safe pump gas pulley. Right here, it should go right back on. Right here, use the tool to hold it. Torqued to, I think, 75 foot-pounds. No problem, easy. I think this was like 80 or 90 bucks direct from Kenne. Quick shipping. I thought that would be a lot cheaper than replacing the absolute dinner plate. I think that's a 10-pound lower down there. So that's that, and then I got a whole bunch of other stuff here because, you know, the while you're in there got me again. So I got a whole list here of stuff we want to do to the Lightning engine bay. And I'm not going to cover all this right now, but we already crossed off hosing out the engine bay. But the first things that I'd like to do, of course, is some paint work and a little bit of cleanup. So over here, I've got the pulley bridge. This is the throttle cable bracket. It's got some surface rust. I spent a bunch of time cleaning all three of these things up last night, getting them ready for primer and paint. Just like with the Cobra, almost exactly a year ago, I've got some random paints over here, some dark shadow gray-ish wheel paint, some silver, some matte black, and of course some clear coat. It's too cold and I'm too lazy to mix anything up in the paint gun now, so aerosol it is. Trust me, I can lay it down. Don't you worry. So all these are gonna get paint. Haven't decided on colors yet, but it should look a lot better than just bare aluminum and, you know, cruddy, rusty black. And here's the supercharger tensioner, which I also discovered that bearing's junk. So if only I had some extra pulleys laying around from another mid-2000s Ford Supercharged project. Look at that. So I might rob the pulley off there and then replace this one whenever I get around to tearing this thing down and figuring out what happened with it. So we can replace that. I've got a new idler that should be showing up in the mail for this today. This JLP box is all prepped. Took some time removing the sticker. I think we're just gonna run no sticker. So this is all gonna get a nice coat of matte black. Should look brand new. When I pulled the truck in the other night, I had to put the intake on temporarily so that I could get the mass airflow reading, and the truck still ran really, really bad. So hopefully that's related to something in the intake that I didn't hook up, or maybe a big vacuum leak, and not me getting something wet with the power washer, but that's a future Chris problem. We'll find out in a day or two once we get this thing all back together. Also, same thing I did on the Cobra. Whoever made this one combination intercooler and washer fluid tank. This thing is sick. There's obviously some sort of baffle in the middle, but this side is washer fluid, this side is intercooler fluid. But whoever built it, the hardware they used is not stainless on the top, so these rusty bolts, can't be having those. So you got to painstakingly get in here and hold one side with the wrench, turn this, and get all these bolts out. Might run to the hardware store, see if we can get some nice stainless hardware for this thing here. So that's where we're at. Just kind of picking and poking around, jumping around on my list here, but that's enough talk. Let's get back to work. Man, I am surgical with that rattle can. You guys already knew that. But we got some parts looking brand new over here. Of course, we got the airbox completely rebuilt with some fresh Rust-Oleum flat black. Looks brand new inside and out, ready for that beautiful contrast with some sonic blue. Got my throttle cable bracket completely repainted / restored. Pulley bridge looking good with some leftover wheel paint and a couple coats of clear. Looks much better than, you know, just dirty, raw aluminum. A little bit of a charcoal, almost dark shadow gray finish. Looks really nice. Same thing with the tensioner. It's gonna go right there. So those are ready to go back on. Oh boy, the mess is getting worse. But this is the tensioner that was on there. I think this is Metco maybe Lightning Force Performance. But this was like all the rest of the aluminum on the truck, and that it was pitted and dirty. I've already started to kind of sand it down and see if we can get, I don't know if I want to do a full polish on this or more of just like a brushed aluminum, but that will be a really nice contrast on that fresh pulley bridge. And this is the idler that came with this aftermarket piece right here, which I'm currently in the process of cleaning up and getting years and years of crud off of that. But I think that once this one is clean, I'm actually going to put that one here down on the pulley bridge because it's slightly less visible. And right here, I ordered a brand new one. So we'll put the brand new one up top on this tensioner, which basically goes somewhere in that vicinity. Can't remember exactly how, but it's visible when you open the engine bay or open the hood. So we'll put the brand new pulley up top, clean this up, put the restored pulley a little bit down lower on our freshly painted pulley bridge, excuse me, and that should be all sorted. Also over here, been doing some work in the engine bay. My buddy Adam stopped by when I was hosing this thing down in the freezing cold the other day. Same guy who we did the work on his red Lightning that's crashed. Hopefully he's gonna get that thing back up and running soon, but he said, hey, you should do the power steering relocate. And I said, power steering relocate? What's that? And he described to me that instead of where Ford put it, just kind of hanging out in no man's land up over by the driver's side valve cover over here, you can basically buy some brackets that move it down to the timing cover, and all you have to do is, I think, shorten one power steering hose, or I honestly forget what he said. I just kind of did it and figured it out. But this whole bracket basically bolted to the head and then up here to the intake plenum. That whole thing sat right here, right there, and the power steering pump was just up here. It's like Ford was trying to make this engine bay as ugly as possible. So some guy years ago figured out that you could mount it down here on the studs on the timing cover and get it out of the way. And there's a guy that makes brackets to do so. Nice powder coated brackets that support it from not only the stud that I supported it from, but that one down there as well. But I didn't feel like waiting for shipping. I wanted this done like now. So I dug through the scrap pile, which is pretty expansive after all my years of cars and doing projects like this. And I found this bracket. And don't ask me what it's from because I have no idea, but I showed it in the B-roll footage. But it basically was the perfect height, and the only thing that I had to do was add another little sub bracket to get the bolt spacing right. And yeah, about 25-30 minutes later, with a little bit of black paint, we've got our power steering relocate. You can see the pressure side line, or the high pressure line, just kind of does a loop like that. No kinks or anything, no big deal there. The other line, I've kind of routed around the radius. That's the same way that it went from the factory, just now kind of hugs it a little bit tighter, but no kinks, all smooth bends. And all I had to do was take out this little section here with an X-Acto knife. No big deal. Now we can easily fill it. Or I guess we'll be able to see if we'll easily be able to fill it, but the intake is going to cover most of this anyways, which is nice. But if we needed to fill it for whatever reason, we could just easily take the intake off, or I think we might be able to snake a funnel down here. But it cost me nothing, a couple minutes of time. This thing is sock rolled, not going anywhere. I could have spent a couple hours with various pieces of steel that I have and aluminum, making, welding up a nice custom bracket, and not had to use this little adapter that I made, but you're not gonna be able to see it down there anyways. That's the whole point. Now the power steering's hidden, it's functional, and now I can move on to the next thing, which I'm really not excited about. We have got to polish all of the aluminum in this engine bay, and there's a lot of it. Mostly this Kenne bell here. I've actually done a little bit of a test spot here and on the side, but this pitting is bad enough that I don't think we're going to be able to get away with just a polish. I think we're going to have to do some sanding as well, so I'm just going to experiment with some sandpapers, get out the old Harbor Freight Drill Master, and see if we can run it on this thing. I have a bunch of polishing wheels, I guess you call these, from back when I had my 24-inch polished American Forces on my Harley Davidson 6-liter. Man, I missed that truck. So I had to get that out, and we'll see if we can get this stuff looking good. Oh yeah, new hardware, all stainless on this intercooler tank here. So I'll have to polish this up, polish that up, polish this up. I might see if I can take some of these caps off. I think this is the factory cap under here. Yeah, I just don't like a lot of this. Like this stuff, this is like what you see at Corvette meets with the Boomer with his bone stock 2005 Corvette. You just slap an aluminum cover on an otherwise stock like thing here. Oh, yeah, there we go. That was loud. Scrap pile, boom, already done. Now we don't have to polish that. Pull this one off too. Stop doing that, doesn't look good. So yeah, let's prepare to get dirty because aluminum polishing is gross. Really glad I don't do it for a living. And I covered up the C8 because don't want it to get all over there, and not the C6 because that thing's already covered in dust. But yeah, I don't really want to put anything else in this engine bay until this is polished because there's a chance it could make a mess. So let's get this out of the way. I really don't want to do it, but let's get to it. I gotta be better about cleaning up between days. Maybe that's my New Year's resolution for 2025. I'm pretty clean, but between, in between projects, or I guess in the middle of projects, like at the end of the day, I probably should be better about cleaning up. Good morning, guys. It is early the next morning. We're making progress. Shoo! Got the hawk tua and put the spit shine on that thing. Is that girl still relevant? What's she doing? Her net worth is probably more than mine just for saying that thing, but here we are. My light just died and forgot to charge it last night, so you guys will have to see it for just 1 second, but the Kenne bell shined up really, really nice. Not going for, and the heat's coming on. Not going for perfection here, guys. I mean, if we get really, really close, you can still see there's some pitting way down deep, especially back here. It's really hard to get in these areas back here. But, from a couple feet away, this thing has got a really, really nice shine. Got the brand new pulley on there. Even gave that thing a quick shine. Look at that. Boom. Kenne bell reflecting. Leaps and bounds better than it was, just a little while ago. The coolant tanks, I mean, they're different. I'm not really sure if I'm confident enough to say they're better, but it's what we got, and it's as much effort as I'm willing to put in. There's still pitting. There's some, marring from the compounding wheel, because it's hard to get in these areas. I said it before, I'll say it again. I really don't like polished aluminum. It's a pain to maintain. It looks good when it's brand new, and unless you are so good with upkeep, which is a pain because it's messy, it's never gonna look perfect. So that's as much effort as I'm willing to put into these. I think this spring, or maybe over the winter, I'm just gonna powder coat these matte black or something else, but I just don't feel like, sanding these down with 180 grit, getting all the way down through there, taking this back off, and then realistically I'd have to remove the tank anyways to get down in here. So, and if I'm doing that, we're powder coating these things. So that will be for a future video or a future project. Right now, it does look, cleaner. Check out my slippers. Uggs, baby. I mean, if you're 100 feet away, it looks pretty damn good. But it does look cleaner. So, and I got that dumb cap off. So we'll keep the OEM cap for now. Speaking of OEM, I found a guy. Where's his card? Not sponsored. Had to pay for this with my own money, but it was cheap. There's a guy out there from Stick It Designs that makes replacement stickers for the rad cover here. You can see mine is peeling. And and this one is completely missing. Look at this. Got the OEM style sticker, and it's specifically for the Lightning. It's even got the belt routing for the Supercharged. So you're never gonna find a Lightning rad cover that has that on it that someone is willing to sell and that is still in good shape. So mine is in good shape, but the stickers were gone. So I just did a quick Google search. I think I found this guy through the Lightning Rodder forum. If any of you guys are on there, that is some OG stuff right there. But yeah, I was able to get this sticker and this one, so we'll replace that. Got the Supercharger bridge back on there, all painted up, looking nice and clean. Look how good the polished billet tensioner came out. Got my brand new pulley on there, billet. Got the used one down there, all cleaned up. You can barely see it, which is, like I said, we'll put the brand new one up top and the quote-unquote slightly used one down here. Just looking very, very tidy. Also, don't think I talked about this yet. This is something that goes to the IAC. Used to go like that, and this is like industrial. I don't even know what this is. It's like the hardest hose I've ever seen. It was basically just a barb fitting into the bottom of my intake tube here. So I decided I have some 12AN line laying around from the PCV or the catch can setup on my twin turbo Z06. All I needed was this fitting right here and one other one that I'm waiting for later today, which I believe is a 3/4 inch AN to 12AN adapter, and then I can make an AN hose coming over here, and then I'll have an actual, removable fitting over here, so I can stop messing with the fiberglass down here and hopefully not mess that thing up. So we'll make that AN hose. What else is left on the list? Polished aluminum stuff. Woof. Done. Pulley swap. Done. I got a belt. Oh yeah, did I show you guys this? Where is that thing? Oh, here it is. Shoo! I got the Gates green for this thing. Your boy loves the Gates green. I found this on eBay. It looks like it's been on a store shelf for 20 years, but Brand new gate screen. I'm almost positive it's gonna be the right size, so fingers crossed there. We can get a brand new gate screen belt on this thing. Get my stickers on there. Idler pulleys, that's done. Make my custom AN hose. And then we'll do a final detail, maybe ceramic coat some of the plastic trim, just really clean this thing up. Get my intake back on. Get my intake box back in. Let's see if with any luck we can bring this thing through the finish line here and get our engine bay looking presentable. So let's get back to work, get this thing done. Not too shabby. I like it. You guys ready to see this? Man, I already love how that blue pops, whether you're standing back, you approach the truck at a car show, or you're right up on the engine bay. Sonic blue was definitely the right choice. That black was way too bland. Now we got Some red fuel rails peeking in down there. Sonic blue intake tube. Boom, right in your face. Polished Kenne bell pulley, polished Kenne bell, and a nice Gates green belt. Some dark shadow gray-ish lightning pulley bridge, and some billet idlers, and some crappy looking coolant tanks. But wow, what a transformation, you guys. From what we started with to now. And again, I mean, this is not a perfect engine bay. The only way to do this perfect is to pull this engine out, basically take it all apart and degrease everything, repaint or repowder coat everything. And I'm just not willing to do that because as of right now, it's perfectly good running Lightning that makes a ton of power and is a ton of fun. So for, you know, a couple days worth of work and not very much money invested in parts, you know, a few $100 in pulleys and a belt. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you guys, the belt that I ordered was the wrong size, but thankfully I have a pretty good inventory of Gates green belts and was able to get the right one on there. So now I can just throw the other one in inventory and it'll be here for the next project. But painted the intake tube with paint I already had, you know, rattle canned some stuff, relocated the power steering for free, painted the pulley bridge for free with paint I already had. This pulley was like $90. This pulley was like 90, or this was like 70. This was like 90. Belt was 40 on eBay, even though it was really free because I had it. Oh yeah, took off there's a big baffle that put this breather way up here. I'm gonna try and run just the breather and see if we get too much oil out of there, but it looks a lot cleaner, kind of sitting down low. AN hose, I already had it, and it came out awesome, by the way, guys. Look at that. So much cleaner than that barbed, you know, whatever that thing was. That cost me about $12 just for this 3/4 inch NPT and 1/2 inch NPT to 12 AN adapters. And then just a bunch of hours of work and cleaning, and we are back together. And this thing is looking incredible. You can see the red Kenne air filter peeking through down there. Pain in the butt getting that thing in, but you know, well worth it. Oh yeah, and the stickers. $50 for these, I think. And looks so much better than a ripped one here and nothing there. Matches the original sticker right there. Just, you know, I'm happy with it, you know? Is it perfect? No, but is it a ton better than it was? Sure is. All right, well, let's fire this thing up and make sure that it runs well. I have not run this thing in like over a week now. This project is kind of dragged out. I've been doing other stuff. But like I said, when I pulled it in last time, I think I had the MAF hooked up and everything else hooked up. It should have been running right. Maybe I had a vacuum leak or something, but let's make sure it runs right, runs good. And yeah, then I think we're pretty much done. I think it's okay. Jeez. Looking good. All right, guys. Well, there you have it. There is my transformed engine bay on this Lightning for not a whole lot of money, and I'm super happy with it. I can now go to a car show. I can be proud of this. I can open the hood and not be embarrassed about a corroded, crappy looking supercharger, dirt everywhere, just everything looking kind of ratty. This looks much cleaner and acceptable to me. The Sonic Blue intake is the star of the show. So happy I went with that. So that's it for the Lightning right now. There's honestly not that much left on the whiteboard. I got to do a paint correction, which is going to be extremely satisfying on this truck. It's black and it needs it real bad, so it's going to be satisfying. But other than that, I have pretty much built my dream Lightning here. I mean, this is what I envisioned when I always, you know, talked about a second gen Lightning. I originally wanted red, Just, you know, maybe because of the Fast and Furious vibes, but the black has really grown on me. This thing is just menacing. And the engine bay was like the last part that was really, really lacking. And now we're doing much better. Again, this winter, maybe or spring, take you guys along. We'll powder coat these intercooler tanks, coolant overflow tanks, and maybe clean up a couple other things. But that's a damn good start. Now, I was hoping I could take you guys for a drive with the new Pulley, see what kind of boosts we make, and you know, make sure everything's good, and just see what else we get into. But it is pouring rain out there, and 2 days before that, it was snowing, which means they salted the roads. So I'm not taking really any of my cars out for a little while because I don't want them getting salt and you know, corroding. But I also might be getting rid of this truck. Hold on, calm down. Temporarily, I may see if I can find some storage for this thing this winter, just so it's not in the garage, so I can, you know, maybe get another project or, you know, work on something else. I just kind of want to toss this thing maybe under cover somewhere, put it to the side, and then we'll revisit it in the spring. As of right now, I don't have any plans to sell this thing. I mean, anything's for sale for the right price, but when I bought this, I didn't really have any intentions of flipping it. Like the Blue Cobra, I bought that because I eventually wanted to flip it. This one, I don't know, it's so much fun to drive, it's so unique, and it's, you know, I'm into it for the right amount of money. And I'm just having a good time with it, man. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you guys are enjoying the lightning content. You know, all that jazz about subscribing and whatnot, just do the thing, all right? I'll catch you in the next one. And oh yeah, thank you so much for watching.